I'm writing because I want your perspective on something I've noticed with my boyfriend. We've been together for about 6 months. And what I've seen with our dates is that he is only on time or early to the date if it requires a reservation. Most other dates or hangouts, his "I'll be there at 6:30" turns into him saying he's on his way at 7. I guess this is better than getting canceled on after getting ready, but I hate sitting on the couch waiting for him to pick me up, or getting to his place and I'm not being ready to leave, and him not being ready to leave at all, or close to the time we decided on. For reference, he's 29 and I'm 26, and this problem isn't because he takes too long to get ready. It just takes too long to get him out the door, if that makes sense. Is this a petty thing to focus on? Should I just be thankful he shows up at all? Should I just forward him this email so he gets the point? Truly, I know this isn't a huge deal. Seeing my significant other is a privilege not everyone has right now, but I felt like others could relate. Sincerely, don't want to wear date night skinny jeans longer than I need to. So it's interesting because this is genuinely like the male problem, like kind of reverse. Like this is like sitcom. My wife takes forever to get ready, but it's kind of the reverse of it. Where, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yes, definitely. All right.
Okay.
As someone who just ended a 10-year relationship.
Really?
And this was an issue from day one that it grew to something so big by year 10.
So
because it was something that she just couldn't do. So basically, I'm telling her, do not just disengage, because if you're upset about this now, it's only going to get worse. And you cannot change, like your feeling is going to get worse. He's never going to respond to that.
So let me ask you, when in the beginning of the relation, so explain your situation.
Okay, so my situation, my girl was what I like to refer to as horror movie gorgeous. Like, you ever watch a scary movie and there's like someone's walking around killing people in the middle of the night, and every time when they call the hot chick, it doesn't matter. It's like 2:30 in the morning. She's just in the mirror. Just, I didn't hear anything going on. Like, that was her, dude. Nonstop. Okay. You know what I mean? She's gorgeous, but it takes some time. And I was no longer able to appreciate it as it became an inconvenience.
Now, did you have talks about it? Did you say to her, like, and how did the talks go?
It was just like, for her, it just wasn't a big deal. She would just say, well, like, she was very good at deflecting it to, well, come on, look, it takes time, or, whatever, or it's not that big of a deal. It'll be fine. Dinner will be there. So I was the one that it was like, her brushing it off is not that big of a deal. I would kind of like, what the hell is wrong with you? And once I'm getting to that point, now I'm wrong. There is no what did she do when you're the one going, why are you always like this? You know what I mean?
Well, here's the one thing about this woman's email that I actually think is important, is that when it's early to the date, when you have a reservation, and if there's no reservation, he doesn't care about time. This is like, to me, that's a very that's a very specific trait. Like, correct. I'm the same way. If you say, like, let's go out tonight, I'll be like, and then I'll be lazier. If you say to me, like, you and I had scheduled for 12:30 today, I am ready to go at 12:29. Yeah, I'm not, and I know how my life works in a 12:29. I'm not sure if that's a male thing, but I think it's a human thing, that just some people are like that. When they're given the expectation, they live up to that expectation. So I think for her, where I agree with you, where it's like, don't get mad, just know this is how he is. Yeah. So I think where you go, if there's a dinner that's important to you and he goes, let's do it, like, if he says let's do dinner and you go, great, make a reservation. I'm not going with you unless there's a reservation, because I know how you act, and I don't want to be in my skinny. You can make a joke. I don't want to be in my skinny jeans for 30 hours. I don't have the the strength to deal with that pain for that amount of time. But I think when you can say, like, there's a point in every relationship where you go, I'm sure you at some point in your 10-year relationship were like, planning the plans around how she.
Correct. And once she caught on to it, she was offended. And that's what I'm saying. Even making that statement of, I'm not going with you unless there's a reservation because I know how you are, that puts someone on the defensive.
So I think it does, but I think you can also say it in a way where you go, I think when you tell someone I know who you are and they won't admit to it, then they're not ready to understand who they are. Like I eat popcorn on the couch. Like my girlfriend put down extra stain guard under the feet of where I would sit on the couch. And
that's good on you because you're not offended by that at all, right?
No, because I go, but I that meant I was willing to work in this relationship where I go, that's me not working on the relationship, but also like being able to take the note. Like she goes, "Did you see where I put extra on the carpet?" And I was like, "Yeah, I get it. It's funny."
But see, that's a good attitude to have about it. But I don't know, and maybe for her, I don't know this guy, so I don't mean to project my situation into hers. But if he is able to receive criticism that way, to be humorous about it, then yeah, address it directly. But I found, especially the fact that he can do it for a reservation and pretty much chooses not to do it when there isn't one, you have to understand that that's something that you're going to have to deal with. And the fact that you knowing that he can turn it on and he chooses not to, it's going to grow with you as that time goes on.
But that's kind of why it's like now you know how to plan the dates with this guy. Like understand the beast that you're taming. So you go like, okay, like if I was her, I'd be like, I'm only hanging with this dude when we have reservations. Yeah. And I would let him know, like, you like to take your own. I think, like, start at not taking it personally. I think if you start at, like, he's not doing this to get you. He's not doing this to show you who's in charge. He might be, but let's start at the very innocent idea that he doesn't take a schedule seriously unless it's in his calendar. Because there are people like that. And if you start at that feeling where you empathize and you go, okay, this isn't about me. This is just how he is. Now you start making plans. And then if he says, why do we have to schedule this so much? You go, because I've dealt with you when you don't have a schedule. And then he goes, what do you mean? I was like, and you go, you were late every time we didn't have a schedule. So now I'm doing schedules. And he could laugh at that. And if he doesn't laugh at that, I think that's a situation that you're talking about where it's like, oh, you're not looking to like become like. I kind of think of relationships as like puzzle pieces that get like get pushed in together. At some point, your cardboard has to bend and their cardboard has to bend. And if you're not letting a part of you bend a little bit, then you're not there to work to be put together with someone. Yeah. And I think this is like one of those small things. I agree with you. Like it could get way worse, and obviously it did for you. I think this can start at, well, let's plan a little differently. Let's plan around it and make fun of it and know it's not a personal thing. This is, I'm again, I'll call myself out. I've never used a coaster in my entire life. So then Jess, every time I take a cup out, she's like, coaster, coaster, coaster. And then I was about to move out. And I was like, so now I'm like trying to do the coaster. But then what she does with the coaster is she'll put stuff on top of the coaster. And I said to her, I go, don't tell me to use the coaster and then create a coaster obstacle course where now I'm doing abs exercises every time I'm trying to put a cup down.
Yeah.
So I was like, you gotta, so again, like I'm melding to her. I'm trying to use more coasters, and she's got to meld to me by not putting ashtrays on top of cups, on top of everything else, on top of the coaster. So this is, and it's us kind of making fun of each other, but also in the vein of getting to a better place.